Alright, so we're finally at the stage where I got to start sanding everything and making all the holes. Yeah. So we started sanding that out. So I got to clean all this up, clean up the back. And then this will be the top. This is where my bridge will sit. This is where I got to drill a hole for the wiring to go through. We're using a flat mount pickup that just sits right on the surface. So the whole wiring will just drop straight down through it. I actually dry fitted everything together. It mostly works out. You can see here I did not do a very good job putting my bracings dead center, because this is the actual center line. Very professional. But that actually works out because I have to use a metal tailpiece that's going to be attached here, and right there-ish, and I have to have a ground wire coming in through here to come out to get pressed by that metal plate. This is our pre-wired wiring harness. And I'm going to have my controls mounted, instead of, here-ish, I'm actually going to have the volume and tone controls like here, coming up through the side. I'm going to put the toggle switch here. I haven't figured out where I want to put the output jack yet. I could have it actually in the face, so in this piece, or I could have it, coming out the side here or coming out through the bottom. Figure it out. It's kind of a, as we go, we'll see what we're doing. This is our tailpiece. It needs some modifications because we have to be able to use 8 strings. So one suggestion I got from somebody was to cut a Y off of each of these. So 1 string on each side. So we'll see how that goes. And then I'll have to figure out exactly where that's going to sit on the body, and this will have to be bent over 90 degrees, or roughly 90 degrees. Probably needs to angle up a little bit, but that's where we're at. Got a lot of sanding to do. I'm debating on whether I should even record the sanding process, because most people probably find that extremely boring. I mean, do you really need to see me sitting here sanding forever? The answer is probably no. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera, and I'll show you when we get to it. Alright, something that came to my attention as I was sanding. I have holes to drill, which means I might have to go back and sand again. So let's do that. Like I said, I'm going to have my switch here. My 2 controls will be here. Those pop out. I'm going to use a Dremel to route out some cavities for them, because there's not enough. This material's too thick. Still don't know where I'm going to put the output. There's lots of space. I can put it pretty much anywhere I want. I was thinking about just popping it right through the front. I think that's probably the best placement. What do you guys think? By the time you see this, I'll already have done that, but like I said, the other option is to pop it through the bottom end here, or out the side, because it's going to be sitting basically like this when you're playing. So some guitars will have theirs on the front, some will have it on the side or the bottom. I don't think there's enough room here. Right in here, I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing. Yeah, I don't have, because this isn't centered right, so I don't have enough room there. So I'd have to do it either out the side, which is not totally unreasonable. I mean, I could just put a plate there. But I'm thinking I'll just have it come right out through the lid. So let's drill some holes. I already figured out for the switch, we need a 1/2 inch. And I gotta double check what we need for the control pots. Probably 5/16 would work. These are a quarter, just over a 1/4 inch, you can see. So I think 3/8 is what I figured out for this thing. Yeah, because it's 0.347. 3/8 of an inch would be 0.375. So, all right, let's start drilling some holes. Do the 1/2 inch one first. Very carefully. Really should probably do a pilot hole, but I'm not going to. Because, you know, that'd be smart. And no one ever accused me of being smart. Yep, it started popping through and now it's catching. Oh, I hate that. So I don't like doing this with a hand drill. There we go. Why does that always happen? It's not like this is a cheap drill. I mean, it's not. It's a Black & Decker. But that keyless chuck always lets go of the bit. But that's why I said do this first, because we have to go back and sand all this. All right, so there's our 1/2 inch done. We'll do 5/16 for the two. These two holes here. I don't know if you can actually see what I'm doing or not. Here's the first one. Second one. Alright, so now let's do a test fit. I know that I have to route out some holes here. I've got some serious tear on the inside, but that's okay, it's the inside. Yep, see that works there. Up there. Come on, give me the. So that's going to be an idea. Tone, so you know, tone pot, volume pot, switch. I gotta mark out how big of a hole we gotta make, and then I gotta measure. Take the glasses off because they're actually in my way at the moment. This is the fun part, is getting underneath here because I can't see what I'm doing. Right. Then we gotta figure out how deep they need to be. I want enough of that thread poking out that we can actually get our get the locking nuts in place so that everything stays put. So this is coming to just shy of the threads actually beginning to poke out. So that is just under a ½ inch in length. So I want at least a ¼ inch of that coming through. Same with these, I'd like them at least a ¼ inch popping through. And they're slightly shorter. And one of my neighbors, you can probably hear his diesel engine. Okay, so let's figure out what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera for a minute while I get things set up. Alright, now I'm going to say, for safety, one thing to be aware of with rotary tools, if you have long hair, long beards, watch what you're doing. It's very easy for them to jump and catch a hold of your hair or your beard. Nobody wants that. I'm going to keep this at a low speed. Let's see, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing there. Probably. Alright, this bit probably not going to do what I want. Bit isn't going to do what I was hoping. Find another one. Alright, after some experimentation, I found a bit that'll do what I want. Let's turn it on. Alright, let's have a look. Hey, what do you know? It worked. So, all right, I'm going to shut the camera off and do the other two. I don't think you want to watch that whole process. It's kind of long, boring, and drawn out. So, I'll be right back. Okay. Now you can see we have our switch, volume control, and tone control. Now I'm probably going to do is, sorry, I'm covered in sawdust here. This has to come out over here. So, and this one here, their output jack. I'm probably going to actually make a groove for this wire to ride on here, just because otherwise the lid's going to be pressing on that. So I'm going to cut a groove across here for that, and then the neck is going to have a groove as well for the flat pickup, and that will go somewhere through here. I'm not sure exactly yet. But that's how we're progressing so far. So I'm going to get back to the sanding stuff. And then we'll be right back. Okay, now we're going to drill the hole for the output jack. So I put a piece of wood underneath it to act as a backer that I can drill into, because we don't want to, we're going to avoid tear out as much as we can here. Yeah, we got some tear outs, but not horrible. And we'll sand that smooth. You can see. Oh, let me get my battery out of the way here. Try not to drop anything. So now you can see exactly how that's going to be oriented. Next hole we got to drill is going to be for the wiring for the pickup to go through. Which that only needs to be a 1/4 inch. So swap out our drill bit here. 1/4 inch. Figures. All right, and again, we're going to use the backer. I want to clamp everything down as tightly as we can. Around the camera. I know right now you can't see what I'm doing, but that's how I have to do it for the time being. Alright, now we'll reposition. There you go. Grab our drill. I'm trying to do this from a different angle just so you can see and I'm not standing directly in front of you. Right there is where I want to go. Be nice and slow this time. I felt like it went through. Yeah, much less tear out in the back. So, much better. Now we're going to sand all this smooth and get ready for burning. One other thing I got to do is widen this side because it's a little offset. That's the notch for the neck. Cut this nice angle there, so that's so when the lid comes down on the neck, it'll fit in there, but one side is a little too close. Let's take our sandpaper real quick. It's probably not going to work. Yeah, that's probably not going to do the job. Probably need to use a rasp. In which case we're going to clamp this down because I don't want it moving. Step in front of the camera. Very limited amount of workspace here. Don't want to lose any of my small bits or tools. That's not going anywhere. sandpaper in there to smooth things up. Run the corner off. I think we got it. Kind of an angle now, which is not what I was going for. Wider at the top than it is at the bottom. That's better. Not perfect, it's better. Alright, so we're going to sand everything down, make it pretty-ish, and then we'll do the burning. So I'll be right back. Alright, now we're going to do decoration on the headstock here. Sorry you're looking at it upside down, because I have to be able to actually get in here, and that's the only camera angle I can use. So let's get that carved. Unfortunately, that means I got to go back and resand. Run very low speed. Okay, now we got to sand the crap out of it again. Yes, I know it looks very rough. That's kind of the point. Now we're in a nice 320 grit. Oh, man, my God. Now we're going to use some denulated alcohol to get as much of the sawdust off there as we can. And the reason we use that instead of water is it evaporates very rapidly. One thing I've noticed, which is kind of irksome, is this neck actually has a finish on it. And I don't understand why you would put a finish on a neck that is, the headstock is unfinished, so it had to be cut. So I had to sand through all of that. But it also means I can't do the burn back here like I wanted to, because we already have a finish on here, which, if I'm correct, is probably some sort of lacquer. So, but we're going to get the torch now. I'm going to move the camera slightly. There we go. All right, let me move my torch. All right, let's light it up. On a very small flame, so it's more controllable. And that's why we did that little engraving bit there. Flip it over. I might be able to do this, I don't know yet. But I like the way that looks. Now we'll test it down here, down on this end, and see if we can burn that, or if that's, because this will be inside the body so you won't see it. So let's find out. Yeah, it's got a lacquer finish on it. So we're not going to do that. I can see by the discoloration that I'm getting. You can see how that turned yellow there. I don't know if that's, yeah, that's showing up. So that's a lacquer of some sort. We can't, I really don't want to have to sand this entire neck down. So we will just burn the headstock. And then we're going to do the body next. Camera a little bit. Now I got to get this so it's off of the table. I don't want to burn my table. So try to position this a little bit better so you can see more. I'm going to have to sand this a bit to make it a little more even, but you see we're getting some really dark spots, which is not something we want. And torch went out. That's because of the angle I'm holding it at. Alright, so let me shut that off. Alright, we're going to have to do this a little bit differently, I think. So I'm going to reposition the camera.